So in this video, we're going to be running through how to use Sales Navigator, how to find the highest quality leads, how to track them, how to save searches, how to create lists, and also how to export them, find their emails, and even engage them. Let's get into it. So when you hop into Sales Navigator, this is what you're going to see. You see lots of leads on the right. You see lots of filters. So we're going to run through the first part of this, which is saved searches and how to get the most out of saved searches. So if I hop in here and look at the left, let's apply some filters here really quickly. We'll say the company headcount is 11 to 50. We'll say the location or the job title is VP of Sales. There we go. Then we'll also say the geography is United States. So it's a pretty simple search, but we'll see we have a list over here. And now the important thing here is there's 5,000 results, right? And maybe you really only want to track everybody who's new. And if you want to track this, what you can do is just click this little toggle here at the top, turn it on. And once you've saved it, you can access this saved search as well as all other saved searches by going over to Save Searches and giving it a click. And this is the really important part of all of this. When you hop in here, you can see there's a lot of saved searches here, right? But what's really cool is if you scroll down here, you can see I have some older saved searches. I can click this 2K new results since 6/4/2025. And what's awesome about that, it'll show me everybody who's newly added to this list. So in this case, we're filtering for founders and CEOs. So now we're seeing everybody who's a founder and CEO, and we're specifically seeing only 840 of them, even though there's 5,000 results. So there's 840 people who've been added to this list, meaning they're now either they've moved locations or they now fit the job title, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a really great way just to see new contacts who are entering your ideal customer profile without necessarily seeing everybody who fits it or who has fit it for the last 5 years or so, right? The next thing you can do here is you can actually save these contacts to leads. So if you do want to build out lead lists, you can do so by scrolling over and clicking save next to these contacts. If you click save, you can create a lead list here. I'll just say leadly or demo list. I'll click demo list and then they're saved there. You can also add them to this list by selecting all, clicking save to list, going to the list you want to use and clicking that list, and then they're now added to it. And now if you want to access that list, what you can do is just go over to leads. You'll see some lists here. You can see I have demo lists. I can open it up and there are all the leads that I just saved. And similar to save searches, you can also see interesting aspects of this, like people who change job titles, maybe people who have posted on LinkedIn, or people who have shared experiences with you. So it's useful. Generally for me, I prefer saved searches, but it's really up to what your workflow supports the best. Now let's run through how to get the most out of LinkedIn Sales Navigator filters. To start, filtering job titles. So if you scroll down here, you can filter for a job title. Maybe I can just say VP of Sales. I can click include there. Great. But if we scroll down here, you'll see, let me remove that key term really quickly. If I scroll down there, you'll see there's people who aren't necessarily going to fit this. So these look like some good results. Let's go to page 8 and see who's here. Let's go a couple more pages. And what you'll see is LinkedIn brings the best quality searches to the front. And if you give it some time and you keep going back and back and back, eventually these searches start to fit less and less. You can see here, here's now a founder, no longer a VP of Sales, outsourced, customer experience advisor. So as you can see, the deeper we get into the list, the lower quality these searches become. And there's a way to avoid that. So the way to avoid it is instead of just typing in Vice President of Sales, what you can type in here is Vice President of Sales in quotes. Click enter. I'll remove that other one. I can also say VP of Sales in quotes again. And now what's happening is we're doing an exact search. So by putting it in quotes, it's basically phrase matching to that, as opposed to matching to key terms like vice president or sales, which might be separated. So now if you go through here and I go back to 8 pages or even further, what you'll find is actually the search results are more defined and more narrow. Let's keep scrolling. Let's just go back a few pages, make sure it's nice and clear. And I'll do one more click here just to make sure we're going far back. So if we go through here again, you can see vice president, VP, vice president, senior vice president. You can now see, since we're using this exact match, these results are just much better. There's not any of those founders or advisors or people getting mixed in because we're using that exact search. So that's the first technique to use when using LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So use quotes with job titles to make sure you're getting the exact audience you want to go after. Now let's jump to the next aspect here, which is how to make sure you're filtering for people with the right job title, or when people accidentally keep their old job title marked as present on LinkedIn. If I filter for years at current company, say 6 to 10 years, a lot of these people have probably been promoted a couple of times. And what you'll see is sometimes people keep that same job title for quite a long time. This guy's 9 years, let's see. You'd expect him to be promoted, but maybe he's the part of the founding team. So here we go. Jeremy is a perfect example of this. You can see he's worked at Traffics for 8 years. He started as a director, then VP of sales, and now executive vice president. And like I mentioned, we're filtering for exact match of job titles over here on the left. But when you look over here on the right, he's no longer the vice president of sales. He's now the executive vice president. And that's because he got promoted, but he forgot to update his job to have an end date. It's still marked as present. So what's happening here is we're actually incorrectly filtering for this individual, even though he's no longer in that role. So there's a way to get around this. And the best way is because it's such a long time ago, promotions usually take time to acquire, right? You can just say years in current position. So if you wanted to filter here, you can say years in current position, 1 to 2 or 1 year. And what that will do is it's going to filter out people who actually have that current job title marked as VP of sales or vice president of sales. And now if you go through here, those individuals who incorrectly updated their LinkedIn profile are not going to appear here. So that audience is going to be just much more accurate. Now, the next thing here is what filters you should avoid at every level. Well, if you hop in here, there's a couple on the leads page. There's function sales. In general, I recommend avoiding this for the most part. And the reason being is because when you filter for sales, you'll find a lot of people who aren't necessarily working in sales. You can see on the right, wholesale account manager. You're looking for people who are in sales, but maybe this is correct, but maybe this is not necessarily an actual sales position like an account executive. Here's a consultant. Here's a person who's sales and marketing, chief commercialization officer. So what you can see here is that this function filter just doesn't work very well. And in most cases, what will happen is it will narrow your search without actually making it much more accurate. So for all intents and purposes, I recommend avoiding the function filter at all costs. The next filter you should avoid is seniority level. If you look at seniority level, again, it's just not super accurate. If you look at CXO, this should be the C-suite, right? COOs, founders, etc. You can already see it's including a president. If I scroll down, especially if I scroll back, 11 pages, 10 pages or so, we'll see what's being brought to the front here. Vice president. So it's already getting, you can see, okay, president. You can see it's already starting to get a little mixed. And if you add more filters here, the further back you go, the more messy it's going to start getting. So if you go back 10 pages, 15 pages, it's going to get more and more inaccurate. And this is especially true when you're narrowing it. So again, for the seniority level, avoid it at all costs and use the job title exact match filter instead. It's just going to be a lot more accurate for you. The next filter you should always avoid is if you're filtering for accounts, don't use all of the account filters. There are some filters on LinkedIn that are really just broken. If I hop in here and I look at industry, for example, I can click industry. These are just not accurate. The industries in LinkedIn don't necessarily match up with what a lot of companies do. For example, in software, a lot of software companies are like software development or information. It just isn't super accurate. And what you'll find is consulting companies are marked as software or software development, and it's really just a mess. So when it comes to filtering for accounts, just never use industry. It's not a useful filter. And this actually segues to a nice tip here, which is how to use account filters to get more out of them. So filtering for accounts isn't super useful because it doesn't give you a contact to get in touch with, but you can use account filters to find higher quality contacts. So to do so, we'll say company headcount growth. So we're looking for companies who are actively growing. We'll say 10% to 40%. The upper end can be bigger, of course. There we go. So you can see Apple, Amazon, etc. All these really high performing companies. Well, let's go look at company headcount and narrow this down. We'll say 1 to 10 and 11 to 50. So maybe startups for the most part. So this is super useful, and you can add other filters here. We can add a location, United States. And again, the industry isn't great, so I might avoid this. I might actually recommend using a search term, maybe something like SaaS. There we go. Okay, there's 10K results here. And once you have a list of accounts here that are really narrow, really focused, you can just save them to a list. Again, we'll just say, we'll say demo accounts. Create and save. And I'd say let's save a couple pages here. In general, this is going to be a more narrow audience, but it's really great for filtering down to a really specific audience. So if your company only has 100 or 200 accounts you really need to go after, this is a great way to go after those 200 accounts. Save the list again, demo accounts. Let's just save 100 here. So let's do it one more time. And now once you've done this, you can use it in a couple ways. So the first thing is you can just go to view current employees. And there you go. It's going to give you all those companies. Another option is just to hop back into leads, open up those filters, scroll down, and you'll have this option for account lists. You can click that, click my demo accounts. There you go. And now you're seeing all of the employees who are related to those demo accounts. See, there's 1.5K results. And now from here, you can apply those filters around job title, location, etc. And again, it's going to be a pretty narrow audience because you are manually saving those accounts to a list. But again, if you have 100 or 200 or maybe even just 500 accounts that are super important to your company that you need to close, this is a great way to go about closing and tracking those leads and those accounts. And beyond just using this to filter for accounts you want to go after, you can also use it to build out exclusion lists. So if you're a B2B sales company and you sell to other companies, you might have clients, you might have competitors, etc., that you want to exclude from all your search results. Well, this is a really useful way to do that. So we can go back to accounts and say there's somebody you want to exclude. We'll just say, just imagine it's Intercom for a moment. There we go. So there's Intercom for us. And now from here, what you can do is you can save them, right? Click save. And maybe you create a new list here and just say, let's name it Blacklist. Exclusions. Create and save. And now when you ever hop into that lead filter and you're searching for leads, you can scroll down, go down to that account list, go to your blacklist and exclusions, click exclude. And now when you search for Intercom, you're not going to get people who are working at Intercom. It's actually going to exclude them from your search results, meaning you'll be able to avoid prospecting your current customers, avoid prospecting your competitors, etc., which is just a really useful way to narrow your audience to make sure you're not contacting anybody that you shouldn't be or contacting a competitor who might mark your emails spam. So we've covered the advanced aspects of Sales Navigator. Now let's hop into how to save emails and prospect these leads in bulk. Well, there's a couple ways. You can do this by using a LinkedIn Chrome extension, kind of like Leadloft here at the bottom. On Leadloft, you can save a segment. Maybe in this case, it's VPs of sales. We'll say VPs of sales. We'll also say a playbook. And for now, we're going to save it as none. But if you want with Leadloft, what's cool is you can select a playbook. And when you click save, it will actually begin engaging them immediately. So it's just one click to save the lead, find the email, verify it, and start engaging them across email and LinkedIn. For now, again, let's just keep it as none. We'll close this, find somebody we want to get in touch with, and maybe I'll go to my saved searches real fast. There we go. Scroll down to somebody we want to get in touch with. And again, it looks like these aren't super accurate. So I'm going to add that vice president of sales. Remove that other one. So we get a more accurate search result here. There we go. And now from here, we'll just go ahead and click save on them. Click save, and they'll be saved to your Leadloft dashboard, and we'll find your email. If I hop into Leadloft, what this looks like is I'll click pipeline, and you'll see that lead appear at the top here. There's Glenn. If I open it up, see, there it is. We just found his email. The green dot indicates it's verified as well. LinkedIn's there, et cetera, et cetera. And what's really cool is if I actually select a playbook, like I mentioned, we can actually automatically begin engaging him. So I'll hop back here, click Leadloft, click a playbook. We'll say, I think there's a VP's playbook here, VP's outbound. And now we'll go back to Glenn here. There's Glenn. We have that playbook selected. We'll click save. So now not only will it find his contact information and add him to Leadloft, but we're also going to begin engaging him. We'll go back to Leadloft, refresh it again. There's Glenn. Let's open it up. He's active. You can see he's now being engaged in that VP's outbound demo. Just to show you what that looks like, it looks something like this, where there's email verification, LinkedIn automation or email automation, LinkedIn connection request automation, LinkedIn messages, etc. So one click to find his contact information, add him to Leadloft, verify the contact information, and to start engaging them across all of these different channels. And another really cool aspect of this is if you're in sales, Leadloft can actually find the phone number, meaning their direct dial cell phone number as well for cold calling. But again, that's a pretty manual process to go one by one here. So how can you do this in bulk? Well, another option is just to copy the URL, go over to Leadloft again, go to Playbooks, we'll click on a new playbook. You have a couple options. You have the AI Prospector or the LinkedIn Scraper. And they work in a similar fashion, but let's just go with the AI Prospector for now. And we'll just say Vice Presidents of Sales, Vice Presidents of Sales, located in the US. Segment, VPs of Sales. We'll click continue here. And now what's happening is it's building out an audience in the background for us. We'll say build with AI, outbound lead gen, companies streamline sales and prospect from LinkedIn. Generate with AI. Now it's going to build a playbook with email steps, LinkedIn steps, etc. So we'll give it a moment here just to build that out. It usually takes a couple seconds. So hopefully we'll be ready to go here in just a moment, but it does save a ton of time. So there we go. Opens up with an automated connection, bounce shield, automated email, calling tasks, LinkedIn follow-up, email follow-up, so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and just click use playbook. I think it looks pretty solid. And here we go. Now, the way this works is when you click start playbook, AI agents will go out in the background prospecting one by one here. You can see some people here aren't necessarily VPs of sales. You can see Mark here as a CEO. Those AI agents will actually skip people like Mark and save people like Glenn. So it's really powerful. It's completely automated, and you really don't have to do anything other than click start playbook. And of course, after you click save, when the AI agents determine that somebody is in fact qualified, not only will they find the contact information and verify it, but they'll enroll them in this playbook. And just so you know, the way you can have them target this direct link is, again, I copied the URL, hop over here to the AI prospector, update that URL, and now you're using more advanced features like the filter you created to have those AI agents prospect from that list as opposed to a list we generated internally. So there you go. That's a full tutorial on how to use LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get the most out of it with lead filters, saved searches, etc., etc. And if you're looking to save these leads and engage them across email, LinkedIn, etc., really, please do check out LeadLoft. We think it's a powerful tool. Our team uses it for all of our lead generation, and we book hundreds of calls every single month. So hopefully that's helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to my team or myself. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video.